Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to today's maths lesson where we're going to be calculating the volume of a shape. Now then, yesterday we were looking at area and perimeter, and we know that area is the amount of space inside a 2D shape, and perimeter is the distance around the edge of a 3D shape. Well, volume is also linked to this area, but volume is the amount of space inside a 3D shape. So area is equal to length times width, okay? Whereas volume is equal to length times height times width. So we've got three different measurements we're going to be multiplying. Okay, so volume is the amount of space inside a 3D shape, and that's what we're looking at today. So volume is equal to length times height times width, or any order of that. Okay, it doesn't matter which order you put it in, you'll always get the same answer. So in this question here, I have got my length. I've got my length, my height, and my width here. So it will be 3 times 7 times 5. Now remember, you can do this in any order you want. It doesn't have to be done in a particular order. Because you're multiplying them all together, they're all going to equal the same answer. So I am going to take first, I am going to do 3 times 7 first. So that will be 3 times 7 is 21, and times that by 5. Well, 20 times 5 is 100, 1 times 5 is 5, so that must equal to 105. In this case, centimetres cubed, so that is a 3, because you're multiplying 3 different dimensions. Okay, so area is squared, but volume is cubed. So this one is 105 centimetres cubed. Let's have a go at this again. Remember, you can pause the video at any point and have a go yourself. That's not a problem. So volume is equal to length times height times width, which in this case goes to 6 times by 5 times by 2. Well, the first thing I'm going to do here is 5 times 2, because that's going to make it straight into 10. Okay, so I'm going to do this bit first. So 6 times 5 by 2 is 10. 6 times 10 is equal to 60 centimetres cubed. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, what about this question here? We've looked at the cuboids, but I've only got one measurement here, but it's a cube. Well, using your knowledge of properties of 3D shapes, you will know that a cube has got equal length to height and width. So in this case, the volume is equal to length times height times width. Well, that's going to be 12 centimetres, and, well, everything is going to be 12 centimetres. So I'm going to do 12 times 12 times 12. Now, just as a side note, that can also be written as 12 cubed. 12 times 12 times 12. Okay, doesn't matter which way you want to do it. That's fine. Now, you should know that 12 times 12 is 144. And I'm going to times that by 12 again. So 144 times by 12. So you could do 144 times by 10 mentally, 144 times by 2 mentally, and add them together. For this method, because some of you will be having to do this today, I'm going to just write it out. So that is going to go into a slightly better order for me of column. So I'm going to put the bigger number on the top, and that's going to be times by 12. Okay then. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 1 is 2. Just change my colour over now to times by 10. So because I'm times by 10, I'm going to put in that place value holder, which is a 0. And I can now do 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1. Voila. And now I can add them together. 8, 12, 7, and 1. So therefore the answer to the volume of this shape, what is the volume of this shape, is 1,728 centimetres cubed. Okay. That is the volume of basic 3D cubes and cuboids. Some of your work today is involving this. And it says, I am a cuboid. I have a volume of 80 centimetres cubed. I have a length of 4 centimetres and a width of 5 centimetres. How high am I? How tall is it? So we know that the total area of this shape is going to be total volume of this shape is 80 centimeters cubed. I know that the length is 4 centimeters, and I know that the width is 5 centimeters, but I do not know the height, and I need to work that out. So basically, the volume is equal to length times height times width, or any combination of those. Well, let me just put those numbers into it. So the volume is 80 centimeters cubed is equal to 4 times the height times 5. Well, I'm just going to rearrange that just very, very slightly. So 80 is equal to 4 times 5 times the height. I can keep working this out now. So 80 is equal to, which is a volume, is equal to 20 times the height. Okay then, what times 20 equals 80? Or, vice versa, 80 divided by 20 equals what? That must mean that the height is also 4 centimeters. Okay, so the height is equal to 80 divided by 20, which is equal to 4. Aha! 4 centimeters is the height. Okay, I've just used my knowledge here to help me work out this. 4 times 5 is 20, and I need to get to 80, so 20 times what is 80? There you go, it's 4. Okay, I could check that by doing 4 times 5 times 4 and make sure it does equal 80, or 4 times 4 times 5. Make sure that works. I can double check that, and it would indeed work. So the missing height is 4 centimeters. Okay, and I've used the information to help me. Length of 4, width of 5, I just need to find the missing side. Now, you may get another question like this in your work today. Again, I'm a cuboid. I have a volume of 80 centimeters cubed. How wide am I? How high am I if you know that the length is 4 centimeters? So if I know that this is 4 centimeters across, I need to work out what this and this could be. Well, basically, I've just got to find out the numbers that could equal, when multiplied, 80. So the volume is equal to length times width times height. Well, in this case, I know the volume is 80, and I know that the length is 4, but I don't know the width and the height. So the easiest way to take this is to do 80 and divide that by 4. 80 divided by 4 gives you 20. So these two sides must multiply together to make 20. And that's just when you're going to use your factors. What are the factors of 20? So the factors of 20. Well, the factors of 20 are 20 and 1. They are 10 and 2. And 5 and 4. They're the factors of 20. So that means that the height and the width of this could be any of those numbers. It could be 20 and 1, it could be 10 and 2, it could be 5 and 4. And any of those answers would be right. So the last time we worked out was 5 and 4 worked. Well, let me try 10 and 2. So I'm going to say that this is 10 centimeters and this is 2 centimeters. Well, 10 times 2 is 20, times 4 is 80. It works. It's correct. If one of these sides was 20 and one was 1, 20 times 1 times 4 is 80. So all of these would work. Okay, so you will find if you're doing triangles 2 work today, you could have multiple answers. You only need to give me one of those answers. So therefore, the height is equal to, I'm going to go with 10 centimeters, and the width is equal to 2 centimeters. And there's my answer to that question. Okay, you would just divide your total by the number that you have, and then work out which two numbers make your answer, which are basically the factors of this number. So it's now time to go on with your work, especially if you are in the squares or the triangles. Can you please go and complete the volume worksheets that have been sent to your parents? Again, send your work to me as soon as you have finished. If you are in circles group, can you just continue watching this video for a few more minutes while I go through one example of your question? So year 6, triangles and squares. Can you please go and continue your work? Circles, here we go with another question. You're going to have to work out the volume of compound shapes. Now, it's not as tricky as it looks. Now, there's two different ways of doing this. One way is to calculate the area of this face here and then multiply that area by the width, how far it goes backwards. So you could do it that way, or you could split it into two different cube or cuboids. So you could put your line across there, and then that would go across there. Okay, close enough. And then you could work out the volume of A and the volume of B. Well, the volume of A is equal to the same thing, length times height times width, or any combination in that order, which is equal to, so let's work out the volume of A. Ooh, it's a tricky one. I need to work out the height. Now I know that this is 3 centimeters across here, so I know the length of it, and I know the width is 4 centimeters. It goes back 4 centimeters. So I just need to work out the height. Well, if it's 6 centimeters from top to bottom, and this bottom shape is 2 centimeters, that must mean it's 4. So it's going to be 4 times by 4 times by 3. Well, 4 times 3, I'll do that first. 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12 times 4 is 48 centimeters cubed. The volume of B, well, in this case, I've got 2 times 7 times 4. 2 times 7 times 4. Well, let's go with 7 times 4 first, because I can just double it at the end. So 7 times 4, 7, 14, 21, 28. So it's 2 times 28, which is equal to 56 centimeters cubed. Okay, so all I need to do now, I will need to add them together. So the total volume is equal to 48 plus 56, which is equal to 104 centimeters cubed. So the volume of this compound shape is 104 centimeters cubed. So that is how I would recommend that you do it, that you split it into two different cube or cuboids, depending on the shape you are given, and you then add them together at the end. Let's just check the second method that I said, where you could work out the area of this front surface here. Well, again, you're still going to have to split it, really. And you're going to got shape A and B still. Let's keep them the same. So the area of A, well, again, we just found out that going across was 3 centimeters, and its height was 4 centimeters. We just worked that out at the start. So that's 4 times 3, which equals to 12 centimeters squared. And the area of B on the bottom is 7 times 2, which is equal to 14 centimeters squared. So the total area of this sort of surface on the front here of all of this is going to be 26 centimeters squared. Now, I could then just multiply how far that goes back on its sort of depth, how deep it goes. In this case, is 4 centimeters. So I took the main face and I'm going to multiply the area of that by how far it goes back. So the volume is going to equal to 26 times by 4. Well, again, 20 times 4 is 80. 6 times 4 is 24. 80 plus 24 is 104 centimeters cubed. Okay, and you can see I got the same answer on that side as I did on this side here. Now, the choice of how you work it out is your own. I would probably recommend going down the splitting it into its different cube and cuboids to avoid any confusion. But if you think you're going to be more comfortable and confident working out the surface area on the front and multiplying that by how deep it goes back, then that is absolutely fine. The choice is yours. So circles, that's your work today, and we'll go through that in a little bit more detail in our morning session this morning. Again, if you need any more help, wait till our Skype session, we'll go through it there and then. So, thank you very much, and you go with your